What happened 24 years ago was so bad.
24 years ago, September 9th, it was a terrible sight to behold. And unfortunately, there was no branding because everyone was a victim.
Myself, I have experienced the devastating effect of conflict.
Well, 24 years ago, we woke up to what they call the first crisis in Jos Plateau State. And I think my experience was not really a good one because I was practically caught in the midst of the crisis, and it wasn't interesting.
When we talk about the Jos Crisis, it's been 24 months, 24 suns, 24 rains, 24 seasons, and still counting. Loads of panels of inquiries. We've also done commission of inquiries, committee reports, most of them in cupboards, drawers of government offices. There's a lack of willpower to implement them. We still find Jos, 17 local governments, divided cities, Muslims, Christians. But you see, one thing I believe and I would always say is like this cup that I hold, we need to come to a point where we need to answer the question, is it half filled or half empty? That determines how we're able to drink from it.
As a child, I remembered relationships that were lost. I remember that very ugly morning when I was picked up from school. I remembered how businesses were lost. I remember seeing sorry sight and glory sight of dead bodies on the streets. I also remember losing a very dear friend, in my class. As a child, I remember all of those ugly incidents.
The misunderstanding of humanity, real identity as the soul, which makes one develop the human dignity of identifying that we are all from one source, part and parcel of God. That misunderstanding, that ignorance is what causes people to differentiate on the external or the secondary level, that makes them to think that they are this tribe, that race, and as a result of that, develop unnecessary enmity.
Plateau was more of like a safe haven for a lot of persons, people coming here to do a lot of things, tourism and the rest. But in between, events happened and there was a breakdown of law and order. And on that fateful day, from nowhere, because there had been, I think, a lot of persons have been bottling in a lot of issues where it led to the issue of distrust. And so there was a break of law and order. And when that event happened, that was where that distrust, people started misbelieving each other, started killing each other, and it led to so much where to this day, in between, it led to a balkanization, as in a separation of where you have the Muslims living differently and the Christians living differently. But coming into now, trying to see how we'll be able to cement this relationship, to cement that trust that had been broken amongst the people.
The way forward to promote peace in our society is by bridging the hatreds.
We have seen children who have lost their parents. We have seen children who have become head of household. We have seen rich people who have become poor. We have seen people who are feeding other people have become beggars.
We went out to the state locust market, and what I saw there was very, very interesting. I just leaned on the vehicle and I was watching people, the Muslims, the Christians, everybody was just buying and selling and buying and selling. you know. And I say, and where is the crisis?
Today, you will see Christians and Muslims are meeting together, and thank God that we have a better understanding now. And I am sure, I have heard of instances where people will want to cause trouble, but within the same religion, we say, no, we've gone past that level, because we have come to know that it's of no benefit.
So whenever you come out and you see the opposite, the other religion in your community, you feel happy. For me, as a personally, whenever I come and I see somebody not from that community, we greet, we smile, you know, and I feel happy that, yeah, we are coming back to where we know. Anybody can go to any community and there will be no suspicious. And also, when I go to the other community that is not majority Muslims, being a Muslim, the way the people greet you these days is welcoming. So with what is going on, if really we continue and continue, you know, educating our children, that a good person is a good person devoid of his religion and culture, and a bad person is a bad person devoid of his religion and culture, we are going a long way.
We should now begin to look at building peace. And when we're building peace, peace should be built with the lens of development. And when I say with the lens of development, I'm referring to can peace building be connected to livelihood and economic empowerment? A lot of people have been displaced. Some are now trying to get back to their communities, but they have no source of livelihood. They have no economic empowerment activity that will keep them going. And then the issue, coming back to the issue of insecurity, even for them to go back to their communities, there is no security. And therefore it becomes a very serious problem. And for me, if people will certainly go back to their communities, then the government should do a lot in terms of reconstruction, reintegration, rehabilitation, and reconciliation.
And so the improvement is that government is improving in relationship with civil society group. And so even where they sometimes promote some elements of the conflict, they've truly been making effort to also promote peace. We need to acknowledge that.
24 years ago to now, we have had increase in peace builders, that is one, which is a development. Then number two, we have had increase in advocates of improved policies, from women policies, from youth policies, from policies that have to do with internally displaced groups from issues of conflict. And we have had policies that has to do with security. We have had a lot of policies and advocates, which is a plus.
And the only thing left right now is to be able to forgive. And forgiveness is the only way out right now for those who have actually directly or indirectly been affected. And so for me, I feel like a lot has changed despite all the efforts that everyone, state and non-state actors, have brought to the table. All the efforts, international communities, local communities, everyone's hands have been on deck to ensure that we bring an end.
Our solutions should address our thinking, our reasoning. You know, you ask yourself, why do we always ask somebody, is he a Christian or a Muslim? Why are we worried about somebody being appointed or being employed or being admitted because of his religious or ethnic lineage? Those are the things we should be worried about.
Without peace, we cannot do any work.